what do we use? What do you guys use as boxes for commander decks? I have like 3 or 4 commander decks and a fat pack box. I don't carry single decks around.
A couple of years back, Carrie got me these really nice metal carrying cases that are lined on the inside with foam, specifically made by someone on eBay or Amazon for carrying around decks of collectible cards. And they came with little. Each one is divided into 2 sections, so you basically got 2 long rows for decks, and then they came with dividers that you can put between the decks so that you can tell where one starts and one ends. Ooh. And I've had them. I've shown them to you guys, right? I don't know that I've expressly said, "Hey, look at these," but I've been using them for a little while.
Yeah.
So. But if I'm going to like a tournament or something, I'll just use like a Star City box or something like that for one deck.
Yeah, there's a lot of plastic deck boxes that were made to fit like 75 sleeved cards and maybe some dice or the rest of your sealed pool or whatever. And they happen to fit 100 sleeved cards pretty much exactly. So I have several of those. There's a nice handmade wooden one I got off of a guy on eBay one time. But I don't have any fancy ones besides that.
Cool.
Mine's the same as Chewy. My sleeved ones I can fit 3 commander decks in one fat pack box. So that's what I use.
What are they called? They're not even called fat packs anymore. Bundles?
Yeah,
bundles.
Do they still come with the box?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They don't come with, like, if you're gonna, you know how they used to have the little dividers, like the little plastic dividers that you could use to separate these land or islands, planes. They don't come with those anymore, which has been terrible because I used those whenever I had my big boxes and I'm trying to divide up the sets. I used to enjoy having those because that way I could separate things out with just the dividers, but now I have to use like a box. I have to use like the little boxes that sometimes come with them, and now they don't even come with those anymore.
Oh yeah.
So now I don't know what I'm going to do now in terms of that. I think Lucky gave me a whole bunch of plastic dividers at one point from some game. Is Lucky still open?
The last day is the 27th.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then. By the way, stream, how do we sound? We all sound good? I think I got my mic and settings and everything back to where they're supposed to be after Mike left for the, what's it called? Nerf. I'm a little quiet. Damn it. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I tilted the microphone so it's actually pointing at me instead of elsewhere. I'm also actually sitting back instead of sitting up in my chair like normal. The Nerf report goes up whenever I get around to editing it. I've been really busy with a project that is not work related for the last 2 days, so... Is Lucky's actually closing for good this time? I mean, he's closing because he's got other stuff he'd rather be doing while he's still young. He's not closing out this time because, like the last time it's bad or I want to get out of it. He's like, this is a thing I can do when I'm old. If such a thing still exists, I can do this, no problem. But I got other crap I'd rather do now while I'm able. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, I meant to ask him more about it, but I hadn't the last times I was there. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it back there before he closes up.
That's terrible, Mike.
Yeah.
Stick your head in the door. Get your ass over there. Be like, sup.
I should just walk in and say sup. You're right.
It's not like it's a 20-minute drive like it is for me. Bless you. All right. Do I sound better since I've shifted the mic and moved? There, Mr. Maximum. Mark Staximum. Microphone levels. Yeah, that's where I had it. Okay. Word. Okay, then. Here we go. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Manapool. This is episode 529 of the Manapool, and it has been far too long.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So the last episode was, well, the last episode was 528. I almost said something really stupid. Okay, let me try that again. The last episode was the live pre-release episode, right?
Yes.
Which means we didn't do a recording per se that week. We didn't do one last week because I got back from vacation and needed a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, there's no way I can record a show tonight. My head might explode. So we didn't record last week. We didn't record the week before. We did record the week before that, which was the tournament prep episode.
Which I was not here for.
Right, and we picked it because you weren't here because we knew it was a topic you wouldn't care about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm good like that. Or somebody is.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that means we're back. Yay! I'm Chewy, the lead dork. And with me, as always, are these other dorks. Hi, dorks. I've missed you guys.
Hey, missed you too. I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler and tangent master of the group, and it does feel good to be back. It really does.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And something I've been meaning to say, but we just haven't streamed since then. Last time we were streaming, some people asked me some questions in chat while we were talking, and I answered them in chat instead of on the air. But I don't know whether the people actually knew that was me that was answering. So the user in chat is Al-Khwarizmi. So if you see that person answering you when you ask Mike a question, you don't have to be like, no one asked you. That's actually me. Just so you know.
You can, but...
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I don't have anything witty to say about it. I've been kind of drained this week. Just like today wasn't a bad day, but I've been kind of drained.
Fair enough. Yeah, I feel you. I think we all do. It seems like we've all been really, really either busy or drained or dead or something here lately.
Yeah. There's been a lot going on.
Yes.
Yeah. But for now, we are here to record El Podcasto.
We're here. We're awake and alive, and all that good stuff.
Somewhat lucid.
For some, for certain definitions of awake and alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I refreshed the alerts. Well, so feel free to try it again whenever you feel like it. Hopefully that'll work. Pinball Witch threw 10 bits earlier, and it didn't pop. I've been having that issue lately. Oh, there we go. There's a test bit. Okay, cool.
Nice.
So, for our first episode back in quite some time, we wanted to do something, or I wanted to do something a little less intense. Something nice and simple. And Brian, are you playing Arena while we're recording?
No. Okay. I got a Tal'Darik or whatever the red-white legend was, and I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm not gonna have any time tomorrow to play. Darn you! What was Discord? Was it Discord that said, "Hey, he's doing this"? Gonna have to uninstall Discord now.
It's like back when we had Lansdale on the show, and for the entire podcast, it was like playing Eternal, and I'm like, anyway,
Yeah, I'm literally gonna finish this game, and then I'll turn it off. Mom.
look, if I can't play Hearthstone while we do this, you can't play Arena.
Understood.
What was that? Look, Brian threw me off, but
Was there any news? I don't know if there's been news.
that's for Monday Night Magic. No one cares. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, right. We wanted to do something, or I wanted to do something a little less intense. So we're going to do another Mythic Conscription. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mythic Conscription is where we go back to old sets that were before the Mythic rarity showed up in Shards of Alara and try to figure out which cards would have been Mythic if it existed at the time. And sometimes we get a little confused on what is or isn't Mythic, but I think at this point we've done it enough times where it's whatever we say it is that given week.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably accurate.
So, the oldest set that we haven't touched yet that isn't a core set is Legends. Which was which expansion was Legends? Was it
What question are you asking?
what number expansion was Legends?
Oh, if I remember correctly, it was the third one. It was after Antiquities.
Okay, so it went Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends.
Yes.
Nice.
Unless I'm misremembering something.
I think that's right. So Legends was a doozy.
Yeah.
That is one word for it.
So Legends is the first appearance of multicolored cards at all, right?
Right.
Nice. No gold bordered anything, or no gold, not bordered, what's gold frames anywhere until we get to Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other bizarre crap in here too.
It's also the first appearance of Legends and Legendary Permanents.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Pinball
As
Witch
the name
says,
would
isn't
suggest.
Legends... Pinball Witch says, isn't Legends bigger than the two expansions before it combined?
Oh, easily. Because Arabian Nights was very small because it was made in a hurry. And Antiquities was still pretty small. And Legends is huge. Like when we did our filters to pop up the cards to look at, we're like, why are there so many cards here?
Now I'm curious. MTG Legends. Bam. It has 310 cards. Whoo!
Wow. That's bigger than a normal set nowadays.
75 commons, 114 uncommons, 121 rares.
Oh, no wonder.
So that means
See, I told
we
you there
have
weren't a ton. That
we
means
have
there's
19?
Yeah, there's only 19 reprinted uncommons that are in our list that we're looking at right here.
Yeah, when you go to Gatherer and do a search, Legends, expansion, and rarity rare, it'll give you anything that was reprinted as a rare. I mean, 19 is not a small number.
No.
Neither is 121.
That is true, yeah. It's also the first expansion set to be sold in booster packs of 15 cards.
How big were the previous ones?
8.
8.
While we're here, it's also the oldest Magic expansion that was released in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. Oh God. This is also the first appearance of bands with other, poison counters, rampage, and world enchantments. Is that right?
Poison counters? Was there not a card in? Was there not like a one of in the original Alpha Beta? Is Serpent Generator from Legends?
Serpent Generator is from
Generator
Legends.
is from Legends.
Okay, then okay.
I'm
That's
on the Gamepedia page here, and it says Legends introduced Legends, Legendary Lands, multicolored cards, and the mechanics, bands with other poison counters, rampage, world enchantments.
Yeah, when I was doing my initial pass at the set, I was like, Serpent Generator. There were so many cards that I recognized that were, I was like, wow, they're actually from this set. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Pinball was just mentioned in chat. The Hive was the token making artifact in Alpha.
Yeah, and like, what's it called? Like Naf's Asp or whatever. It doesn't actually do poison.
No,
But I don't remember what's that's from either.
that's from Arabian Nights.
Ah, okay. Okay, so I guess we should dive into it. We've got Legends. Okay. So let's just, as always, go by color. How do we even?
How do we even? In white, I think it's pretty obvious that I don't know what I'm doing here. I think no, seriously, I think there's some really weird, wacky, crazy stuff here. It's hard to look. As I said to the guys before we got started, I'm like, it's gonna be extra hard this time. Try and look at these cards without thinking about, how they've impacted the tournament scene and casual scene since then. The biggest example I can think of this is land tax. I look at it and I'm like, it's land tax, duh. But would it have been mythic at the time? I don't know.
It was even uncommon at the time. The only reason it shows up on our list was because it was reprinted at Rare in 6th edition in one of the online master sets.
That's right. And I tried to filter those through, and
4th edition.
sometimes it works.
4th edition? Okay, yeah, sorry. I looked at that wrong.
But was Divine Intervention rare?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think that one could be a contender for mythic. So
this was the first one that I wrote down for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up the Oracle text.
Please do.
So for 6 and 2 white, it's an enchantment. It enters the battlefield with 2 intervention counters on. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an intervention counter from Divine Intervention. When you remove the last intervention counter from Divine Intervention, the game is a draw. So it's an alternate win condition, except not. It's an alternate draw condition, but not like draw cards. So, but it has the power to single-handedly end the game.
Yeah.
It's big. It's a big effect. It's expensive. It's kind of like this crazy, like you just don't see this anywhere effect. So I'm like, this feels pretty mythic.
Yeah.
More so than, Kismet.
Mm-hmm.
Which was also an uncommon.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'll always remember an article in InQuest magazine. It was in one of their April articles. It was kind of a joke, but it was a super trolly Magic deck where the whole point was to just keep everyone like shuffling their libraries and starting sub games with Shahrazad and like forking it to keep doing it over and over, and eventually you end the game with Divine Intervention.
So in other words, that was
interest.
just a game of total.
Yes.
Like, why are we here?
Yes.
Yes.
It's sort of like when we say, "All right, this is the last game of the night," except intentionally so.
Yeah.
See, now I'm thinking about, like, would there be a way to like cheat this out early? Because the only reason this only has 2 counters on it is because it costs 8 to play.
Yeah.
But if you use like Academy Rector or something to put this out early, that just seems really unfair. Like, okay, it's turn 3 and nobody's won, so shuffle up. What did we just do?
That'll be my vintage deck right there.
Okay.
So yeah,
What's
definitely
another-
mythic.
Was Moat rare or uncommon?
Rare.
Okay.
Moat was rare. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I'm not sure if, like Brian was saying, I'm not sure if I'm looking at it like, oh my God, it's Moat, and that's what's making me think about it, or if they really would have thought about it that way at the time. Probably not.
Yeah. It was a question mark.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, Moat is just essentially a hoser, and
Yeah.
of sorts. I mean,
What about
it's a pretty big hoser.
What about the Petrosphinx?
Card is so bad.
Banned in France.
What?
It is?
Yeah, well, it was for a time. So the DCI didn't used to have the same policies everywhere. Like one of their European offices decided that they didn't like cards that messed with the top card of the library. So stuff like Petrosphinx and Vexing Arcanics and a bunch of random other things were banned. And it became a joke in Magic R&D. If they designed a card that did something with the top card of a library, its playtest name would often be banned in France.
Well, at least they had fun with it.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, Petrosphinx says, tap, target player chooses a card name, then reveals the top card of their library. If that card has the chosen name, that player puts it into their hand, and if it doesn't, the player puts it into their graveyard. And it's a 3/4 for 2 white, white, white. That doesn't fly, even though the Sphinx is like 3/4 wings in the art, and is clearly not standing on anything.
Oops.
So yeah.
I guess the wings are just ornamental.
And it just jumped or fell off something.
Yeah. Someone chucked it. So yeah, so bad.
That's it for me.
Yeah, I
Anything
wrote
else?
land tax with a question mark, even though it was originally an uncommon, because it's freaking land tax. And
Yeah, but that's another thing where at the time they would have been like, no, see, it's fair. If they have more lands than you get some lands and then you're good. See?
exactly. Freaking land tax.
And then Akron Legionnaire, just no. I mean, maybe no.
Gatherer
No.
keeps breaking. Every time I go to open a page, it gives me a white screen. Apologies to you watching on stream. Akron Legionnaire is an 8/4 for 6 white white. That's a giant soldier. Oh, jam. It says, except for creatures named Akron Legionnaire and artifact creatures you control can't attack.
Because this 8/4's gotta have a drawback.
Well, yeah.
I don't understand why Akron Legionnaire is rare here, but Evil Eye of Ormsbugger was uncommon, when the Evil Eye is actually the good one.
Maybe that's why. It's the good one, so it's uncommon.
I guess.
It kept people from opening it too many times in booster packs, but like not to protect them from it in draft, but to protect them from having to take them all home. Ugh, got all these uncommon Legionnaires. I don't know.
God, it was rare in Chronicles too. What? Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, we'll be here all night if we sit here lamenting bad cards in Legends.
That's true. Okay, wait a minute. Chat has asked, what's the question? What's the answer to the Sphinx's riddle? Well, it walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening. Oh, that's the famous riddle.
Yeah, it's man, right?
Yeah.
Because he crawls when he's a baby, he walks on his feet when he's a man, and he... Wait, what's the last one?
3 legs.
3.
Three
He
legs.
has a cane.
Because he has a cane. Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, isn't that the famous riddle that
The Sphinx, yeah.
who had to answer that?
I don't know.
Was that Jason? Who met the Sphinx?
Somebody in ancient Greeks.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
I'll look it up. You guys keep going.
Okay. So yeah, white has a lot of just either nonsense or stuff that's just rare.
hmm
Like and these hosers, man, cleanse. Ugh. 2 white, destroy all black creatures. And then there's another one. Oh yeah, lifeblood. Yeah. Gain 1 life each time an opponent's mountain becomes tapped. Woo! That's an enchantment. There are a lot of really... I'm looking at the camera as if I'm on camera. There are a lot of really vicious hosers in this set. But hosers are still... Hate cards are usually still just rare. So you might read it and go, jeez! But that doesn't mean it's mythic.
Oedipus.
Yeah,
Oedipus.
That was Oedipus, yeah.
Yeah. There you
Oedipus
go.
solved the riddle. Okay.
I don't know why I thought Jason. I don't trust people named Jason.
But you trust people named Oedipus?
Well, yeah, because they're complex. Anyway.
Just like a Bates Motel kind of thing?
Exactly. So let's move on to blue then, I guess.
Yes.
What? Blue was hard for me too. What do you guys have?
Blue, well, I mean,
I had in the Eye of Chaos.
I don't want to say invoke prejudice, but it's invoke prejudice, but
That's not really mythic.
no, it's not. It's just
really funny.
it's just
All right, so Dirk had in the Eye of Chaos. I don't think I realized that was an enchant world. I mean, a world enchantment.
hmm
Huh. So what's it do, Dirk?
So for 2 and a blue, it's a world enchantment. Whenever a player casts an instant spell, counter it unless that player pays X, where X is its converted mana cost.
wow. So it basically doubles their cost.
Right. And the reason why I thought, well, this be is that it essentially shuts down things like counter spells or interrupts, things like that we would normally associate. And it also, and because of it, it shuts it down if you're trying to cast it against somebody else on their turn.
I mean, it is a hate spell, but it's still like a really effective hate spell. Like, and it's not just good against, it's not like acid rain or cleanse where it's like just against one particular color. This shuts down all instants and sorceries effectively.
No, just instant.
Just instances.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. We'll get to sorceries later.
But just instance. But it's all instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, including yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
Which I
probably
think
going
is
to know that when
why-
you build the deck.
Yeah, which I think is why I didn't lean towards it for mythic, because since it's what's the word I'm looking for? Symmetrical, but
hmm
and it's symmetrical in blue, where that sort of thing seems more important.
What do we think about recall?
I would have picked recall. I just like recall a lot.
I
Well,
wrote
what's
it
it
with
do
a
then?
question mark.
What's it do then, Mr. Smarty Pants?
So recall for XX blue. It's a sorcery. Discard X cards, then return a card from your graveyard to your hand for each card discarded this way. Exile recall.
The original printed text of recall wants you to sacrifice cards from your hand. But yes, discard. So, I
Like you
mean,
do.
so yeah, it does give you the ability to rebuy potentially an unlimited amount of cards from your graveyard. So that seems pretty strong.
Yeah, it
Like-
is.
And it also, compared to the other cards in blue, seems pretty strong. So I love the flavor of teleport, but teleport is not a mythic card. Mana drain seems super amazing, but I'm fairly certain that's just history telling me, yeah, they didn't know. Not to mention it wasn't uncommon, so doesn't mean it couldn't be a mythic, but obviously at the time they didn't even think it was rare. Could you
Mhm.
imagine if they printed Mana Drain now?
Yeah, it was a mythic in Iconic Masters.
Yeah. So, but would it be mythic at the time? I don't know.
No,
No?
No.
no.
No. Nope. Recall,
Probably not.
yes.
I
Mana Drain, no.
don't think Recall is mythic.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like you were disagreeing with it being mythic then, like not being mythic then. But
What? No, I still okay. So Mana Drain is mythic now. So this is where we run into one of the problems with Mythic Conscription is
Mhm.
do we look at it as if this is mythic by today's standards, or would they think it was mythic back then?
right.
Well, with Mana Drain, we kind of get to cheat because they did put it at uncommon.
Yeah.
So we already know the answer. It wouldn't have been mythic.
Right. And I've when in doubt, I tend to go the latter way, the way that Chewie ordered them, which is at the time it was printed, would it have been considered mythic? When in doubt, that's kind of my standard. I think it's interesting to note, would it be mythic now? Yes, no. But again, this was an uncommon at the time. So, anything else in blue, gentlemen?
Okay, wait a minute. We jumped right over Recall before there was any actual discussion. I don't think Recall is mythic at all.
Okay,
Really?
Maybe
Okay.
Maybe you just missed the discussion, but okay.
Well,
Well, I
I think Mike and I agreed, and we're like done next.
Yeah, and then Brian jumped
Oh.
off to like 2 other cards. But
yes,
I think the fact that you pay X twice and have to discard cards, so you can't just all right, I want some stuff back. Let me get stuff back. You have to have cards in hand, and you have to pay the X twice. I think it brings the power level like way down to the point where I don't even know if it's worth it half the time. I know Mike does because Mike always has a handful of cards.
Hmm.
What was that?
I don't know, but you can always like hold on to stuff you don't need and just go, all right, well, this is unnecessary. Let me just pitch these and get back the stuff I really, really need. And then if you have another recall later in the game, you can buy some of the stuff that you pitched if you really needed to. But I get what you're saying, and having to discard the cards from your hand is a matter of making it not broken, because it would be dumb if it was just, put X cards from your graveyard back into your hand. But I don't think that stops it necessarily from being a kind of unique effect, which is one of the trademarks of a mythic card for me is how powerful is this and how kind of unique is it, the fact that we don't really see it done a whole lot elsewhere. That's just my opinion. What do you think about well, okay. Any more discussion about recall? Mike and I thought so. Chewy, not so much. Where do you stand on recall, Dirk?
Dirk is muted.
Eh.
Uh,
I mean, I agree. It's a great card. It's a pretty cool card, but I don't.
Not really feeling it?
I don't know how it would have fared in terms of being mythic at that time. Because I don't. I'm
not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine.
What about
Anything else?
What about land equilibrium?
Uh,
I thought about land equilibrium.
For me, it's a whole lot like land tax in that I could see them just saying, "It's fair,"
Is it though?
I mean,
Well,
now that we know it,
Now that we know it isn't, but
right? But at the time, I think it probably would have been, or they would have said, "Yeah, it's only if only does anything going forward." I think the potential to be broken is there, no doubt. But
So land equilibrium for 2 blue is an enchantment that says Oh God, let me just sum it up.
Yeah.
Once an opponent has the same number of lands as you, they can play more lands, but everyone they play, they have to sacrifice a land, so you stay at equilibrium.
Yep.
Which again, in blue, which is usually the color where you want lots of lands in play, it just feels wrong. And it's also essentially not necessarily land destruction, but it's mana limiting in blue, which is not a thing unless they're countering spells with mana leak or something. And it's unique, which Brian likes.
I do like unique, and it is one of the signs that I look for. So it definitely checks that box. I don't know. I thought that, especially given our previous discussion of like land tax and symmetry, okay, well, it only affects the opponent if they have as many lands or more than you. So.
Also, by the way, when I said what's that earlier, it was 10th Tech Priest resubbing for the second month in a row. I said, wonder if Chewy remembered to turn his sounds off this time. What? No, why would I turn the sounds off? Then I won't know when people resub. So what else did I have in blue? No. Oh, did you guys see what is it? Reset?
I saw Reset.
Reset's really weird.
Yep.
Yeah, if it weren't for the timing limitation, it would be stupid. But it has the timing limitation, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but it's in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it says to your opponent, "Hey, by the way, I'm not tapped out."
Yeah, for
I'm
blue,
going to counter your thing.
For blue, it's an instant that you can cast only during an opponent's turn after their upkeep step, which is very strange wording. And it says untap all lands you control. In blue.
Right, which basically lets you go, hey, I've got a counterspell, even though you thought I was tapped out. Although, you need to have at least 2 blue to play Reset. So...
Which you could just play the counterspell instead, so... I mean, nothing.
Yeah, at the time that wouldn't have worked, because by the time you were allowed to respond with Reset, it was too late to respond with Counterspell.
Really?
Yeah.
But Reset's an interrupt.
Reset's an
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Oracle text.
Yeah.
Reset was an interrupt? Oh, okay, then that would work.
Yeah,
Right.
You could interrupt to untap your stuff and then counterspell and be fine.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just very strange in blue. But
Yeah,
like
I have them in standard view mode so I can see the rarities, but that means also the
okay.
cards are very small.
Yeah, they are. I mean, what? So, is there anything else in blue that's something? What's the hate in blue? Acid Rain, which destroys
Acid
all
Rain,
forests.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. And what was the other one?
Unfortunately, I think Elder Spawn is the other hate card.
Oh, right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can't be blocked by red creatures. So, yeah.
Yeah.
When you say unfortunately...
Because it's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not. What's his creature type?
I don't know.
Now?
I was just clicking. It's still a spawn.
It's still Spawn.
Spawn.
Al Simmons is like, hey man, that's not funny.
John Leguizamo was like, what?
Aw. That movie sucked.
Mm-hmm.
So are we good with blue then?
Yeah, I think we're good with blue. We got a couple maybes that nobody seems to agree on. Seems about right.
Okay, so now we go into black, which...
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, almost.
Yep. And, hey, look, All Hallows Eve. So, there's some interesting stuff here, honestly. I actually had a couple that were question marks. I think if I'm going to lead off with one, but I think maybe one of the stronger contenders. See, even
Okay.
now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of questioning myself.
Th-
But I'm going to say maybe Hell's Caretaker, maybe, because of its ability to, pull stuff back from the graveyard directly to the battlefield and repeatedly, like every turn. So, for 3 and a black, it's a horror. It's a 1/1, but you don't play it to attack. You can tap and sacrifice a creature to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only during your. I believe it was reprinted. Yeah, it was reprinted in 9th edition, which was prior to the Mythic rarity. And yes, but
Yeah.
much better art. I don't mean to make it sound like the original one was terrible, but the 9th edition art is awesome. Yeah, but so I thought,
It's more
there's
of
a
an
couple,
idea.
there's a couple things that I thought might be contenders here, and
Whoops, I forgot to
I'm
unmute.
not good. I'm not gonna be. No, we've heard you.
What? Yeah, you guys did. Stream didn't. What I had said was that sweet new Hell's Caretaker 9th edition art, but yeah, stream and the podcast didn't hear that, so sorry.
So I think it's a contender, but I think there's some other decent stuff here. So I don't take any offense if you guys just feel like it's a good rare, but still a rare. What do you think, and what other cards do you have in mind?
Yeah, Mike.
I think they might have done All Hallows Eve.
Really?
Yeah, just for its uniqueness, like Brian brought up, and also just for the effect, the size of its effect. It was the first card that did something like this. So for 2 black, it's a sorcery. You exile All Hallows Eve with 2 scream counters on it. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if All Hallows Eve is exiled with a scream counter on it, remove a scream counter. If there are no more scream counters, put it into your graveyard. And each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. So yeah, just reviving everything all in one shot. Hadn't been done before. It's a huge flashy effect. And I think they might have possibly slotted it for Mythic at the time.
Well, clearly they thought it was too powerful to just happen at once, so they had to let it
Yeah.
burn for 2 turns. Oh, and Stark, we were talking about that before the show. He said, remember when this was a sorcery that just sat on the stack with counters on it? Yeah, actually for a while it was an enchantment. They actually eroded it to be an enchantment. But once we got... what did we decide? Suspend technology? At some point
Yeah.
they swapped it back.
And maybe suspend technology might have been invented to solve the problem of what Urte's meddling actually did some years beforehand, and they might have changed All Hallows Eve when they fixed up the text for Urte's meddling.
That could be.
Because they would have had to fix up Urte's meddling at the latest when the 6th edition rules update was introduced. Because you couldn't just have a spell sitting there on the stack.
Right.
Because the game couldn't progress.
But yeah, I didn't sign on a Battle.net. But I didn't even think of All Hallows Eve, honestly. I just ran right past it. Neat.
What did you think of?
I went to Chains of Mephistopheles.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Chad is going to start throwing rocks at us if we don't mention that soon.
Yeah, cause yeah. So, let's just do this for 1 and a black. It's an enchantment. If a player would draw a card, except the first one they draw in their draw step each turn, that player discards a card instead. If the player discards a card this way, they draw a card. If the player doesn't discard a card this way, put the top card of their library into their graveyard. This card makes it impossible to actually get ahead in hand size.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also infamous for having some of the most confusing text in the game. Especially if you try and go off of the original printing.
Well, God, even the Oracle text only makes some sense.
Yeah. This is what the original text says. I need to blow it up a little bit on my computer.
Oh,
Every time a player draws a card, that player must first discard a card from his or her hand. If there are no cards in that player's... Well, it's actually not the worst card in terms of... But it's still just weird.
The printed text is I think it's a little easier to follow, but the printed text doesn't work within the rules.
Ah, is that why?
Yeah.
I like the way you just stopped halfway through reading that.
Well, because I was realizing that it actually, like Mike said, it was not as difficult as I perhaps was hyping it up to be. So
Also, Stark pointed out in Gatherer, you can just click on printed, and it'll show you the original printed text without having to zoom in on the card.
no, the way I just had my monitor set up, it was just gonna be easier to. But yeah, sure, yes.
Okay, Brian. But yeah, the chains, like I said, it just makes it impossible to actually draw more cards. So what happens, Mike, if you have no cards in hand and someone plays Chains of Mephistopheles?
You say, darn. And you still get your normal draw for the turn. It specifically says it doesn't affect that.
Right.
Right.
But if you like play it, but if you go like, haha, brainstorm, you'll be like, oops, that was a bad idea.
Idiot.
So when I brainstormed, I would discard the card that I have in my hand for my draw step, and draw for the first one, and basically do that 2 more times.
Yes. Or if brainstorm was the last card in your hand, you would just mill for 3 and be like, oh.
Awesome.
Hey, at least you don't have to put any cards back on top.
So is this mythic? Let's get back to it. Is this mythic?
Maybe?
Possibly.
Maybe.
I mean, this is an awfully huge effect for 2 mana. I keep coming back to, like, it's right next to Cosmic Horror, and I'm like, one of these costs 6 and the other one is Chains. What? I realize that Cosmic Horror is a 7/7 and Chains is not, but this is a huge effect. So, maybe I'm gonna say probably. I'm gonna say probably for Chains. I'm also gonna say maybe for Cosmic Horror because it's a giant 7/7. It's kind of dumb. It's a 7/7 for 6 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy it unless you pay 3 and 3 black. If it's destroyed this way, it deals 7 damage to you.
Don't forget that it has first strikes.
Well, it also has first strike. It does not have flying.
So it's astonishingly difficult to kill in combat.
That's true. The only way it's really going to die is if you don't pay for it over and over again.
Or Swords to Plowshares. Dies to swords.
But I mean, honestly, it is huge. It's difficult to remove in combat. And as long as you can afford to keep paying for it, what else do you even need to be casting? So, and it's weird. So I don't know, Dirk, what do you think about Cosmic Horror?
What color was that in?
Black.
Dirk has not been asleep. He actually stepped away for a minute.
Yeah. My wife said, "Hey, there's a child asleep in our bed. I need you to go and take him back to his bed." All right, so wow.
Mythic or not mythic?
It just, it's like,
He's still wrapping his head around it.
destroy unless you pay 3 is destroy, it deals 7 to you. So it's like the dark. It's the big demon that you have to sacrifice stuff, or it
It's
hits
like
you for a lot.
It's like a Lord of the Pit, except the Lord of the Pit doesn't kill itself. This
Yeah.
does.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
cosmic card just up and leaves if you don't pay for it.
Lord of the Pit also doesn't require any
6?
additional mana.
It has first strike.
I'm sorry, Dirk. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus.
Well, it's
Dirk literally just sat down, and Brian goes, "So what do you think of Cosmic Card?" And Dirk's like, "What are we doing?"
Who are you people again? I don't. For this, I would say yes.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards nah, just because of the ridiculous drawback.
But
It is
the
pretty
thing
big.
is that again, back at that time, this is a lot of damage.
It's a very
And
big
it's
creature.
first strike. And for 7/7 first strike, I mean that's not a terrible. I mean that's a lot, but you're
it's-
getting a 7/7 with first strike that most creatures of this time are just not going to be able to deal with. And if they were to throw in front, then they're going to probably die. And yeah, it's got a terrible upkeep. But that's still a lot of damage that it's throwing. Because I'm like, what is the Lord of the Pits? What?
7/7 with flying and
Well,
trample.
no. What's its rarity right now?
Rare.
It's just a rare.
Mhm.
Well, I thought it was mythic. Knowing that, I'm thinking swinging back towards being rare.
well, at least it generates some discussion.
True.
So,
Yeah.
anything else in black, gentlemen?
So what about greed?
Rare.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mean to shut down the discussion, but
It doesn't.
I just-
It doesn't swing the game.
it's a fairly powerful effect, but it's, to me, it just seems like this rare is exactly where it should be. I don't. It doesn't feel mythic enough to me.
Fair enough.
Oh.
I like the way we spent 20 minutes discussing a stupid cosmic car, and for a thing
Oh,
that
more
draws
like-
cards, Brian's like, no.
I don't know how else to describe it. Somebody else put into words why they think it is or isn't. I feel like this is a very solid black ability at a good cost that just doesn't feel like amazing or like outside of black's wheelhouse. I think it's exactly where it needs to be. But, somebody else feel free to disagree.
By the
Or
way,
not.
chat spent a while talking about Hellfire. So
Hell.
we should at least bring up Hellfire. Hellfire for 2 and 3 black is a sorcery that says destroy all non-black creatures. Hellfire deals X plus 3 damage to you, where X is the number of creatures that died this way. So that's pretty stiff.
Yeah.
But for a potentially one-sided wrath, that's pretty good. It's sort of
Yeah,
like
and-
cleanse, except the opposite, and punches you real hard in the face.
Yeah, it's interesting because black got a rare anti-white hoser, but it didn't get a rare anti-green hoser. Instead, it got Hellfire, which is basically anti-everything else hoser. And that's actually a pretty impressive effect. So it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get... What is the destroy all non-black creatures? Is there one? No, what's the destroy all of not my creatures? Plague Wind?
Yeah, those things cost
like a million?
8, 9, 10, depending on what you're talking about.
Yeah. Plague went in Garrick's wake. That's the other one. Thank you, Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, plus the art is freaking sick.
Yeah, it's cool.
So the art gets the mythic treatment, if nothing else.
Yeah. As if, concerned parents needed any more pentagrams at the time to
Yeah, right.
tell their kids.
I think because of all the mentions on different cards, like resources like the MTG wiki that the people on MTG Salvation keep up, like count hell as one of the official planes of the multiverse.
Wow. Because the quote is from Paradise Lost.
So wait a minute. Does that mean that you could actually tell Jace to go to hell, and he's
Yes.
capable of it?
Yes.
Jace, I need you to go to hell and tell me what you see there. Okay.
Jace, go to hell. He's like, what again? God. Be right back. Sorry.
I wondered about like one or both of Nether Void or the Abyss, but I think at the time Nether Void would have been more likely a candidate.
I actually wrote Nether Void with a question mark down.
Mm-hmm.
What's it do?
I mean, we did, after all, we did talk about In the Eye of Chaos, so yeah.
Nether Void is kind of like that. For 3 and a black, it's a world enchantment. And whenever a player casts a spell, counter it unless that player pays 3. So everyone's living in Mana Leak world constantly.
but what if it costs 3 more?
Gosh, then these cards would be even worse. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the Abyss, it's another thing where at the time they would have said, no, see, it's fair. It hits everyone. It's you too.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
And,
What's
it's
the
just
Abyss
killing
do?
creatures or whatever. And even though Nether Void also affects everyone equally, I think to them it would have been a more oppressive and impressive effect.
Compressive.
Yeah. Expressive.
Yeah. So what does the Abyss do there, Mr. Beard?
The Abyss, for 3 and a black, it's a world enchantment as well. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of their choice. It can't be regenerated.
It always struck me as weird that the Abyss didn't say sacrifice. You destroy a non-artifact creature of their choice, and it can't be regenerated.
Yeah, I think the only reason they did that is because they tried to stick as much as possible to what was written on the card unless it just flat out cannot work. And because the original printed version of the card used the word target, that's why they stuck to it in the updated Oracle text.
Oh, it does
that's why
target.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that means hexproof things can't be sacrificed or won't be affected.
Right, and shrouded things won't be affected either.
Ooh. Okay, that's actually different. Neat. Okay, then. Oh, yeah, and the hate card is Jovial Evil. A sorcery that does 2 damage to 2 opponent. Wow. 2 damage to target opponent, where X damage to target opponent, where X is twice the number of white creatures that player controls. And look at him. He's so happy. He's so jovial. Okay, then. So, are we good on black?
I think so.
I think so.
I
Someone
did
brought
look
up
at the
in-
Wretched real quick, but, yeah. Go ahead.
Someone brought up in chat a while ago, I think it was I think it was Pinball Witch. It's like, does anyone know how world enchantments work besides me and Mike? So I'll tell
I
you.
do.
So world enchantments use a special rule for themselves. It's called the world rule. It's kind of like the legend rule, or formerly the planeswalker rule. But the world rule says that if you ever have more than one world permanent on the battlefield at the same time, you get rid of all of them except for the one with the most recent timestamp. So it's basically plane chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah.
All right. Then.
Someone also asked about bury. I don't think this was the first set to use the keyword bury to describe the action of, kill that. It can't be regenerated. I don't think it is, but I haven't done the research.
Didn't Terror say that?
I don't know whether the original version of Terror said. Let's look it up.
On it. Boom. Alpha. Destroy target creature without possibility of regeneration. I'll be damned. Beta? Nope.
Without possibilities.
Unlimited. Nope. Revised. Boom. When was... This was before revised, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I don't remember. I don't remember which came first, Legends or Revised. Oh well. Someone else can look it up and tell us.
Yeah, somebody look that up and tell us. All right, so red then. For red, I had Falling Star because it's one of those manual dexterity cards.
Yeah, because it's reminiscent of Chaos Orb.
Yeah.
Which probably would have been Mythic.
Yeah. Falling Star for 2 and a red. This is a sorcery that says flip Falling Star onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Falling Star deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on, and you tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. Because, if a Falling Star hits you and doesn't kill you, it's going to knock you over.
Yeah.
And if Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect.
Yeah, I also had Falling Star.
Because, yeah. That's weird.
I had Winds of Change, perhaps, because it's kind of like a Wheel of Fortune, but it only costs 1 red. So, what? Winds of Change for a single red. It's a sorcery. All players shuffle their hands into their libraries and draw the same number of cards they originally held, is what the original card says. I'm assuming that's pretty close to the Oracle text. Yeah, each player shuffles the cards from their hand into their library, then draws that many cards. For 1 red. For 1 red. I guess because you don't draw up to 7, like you do with Wheel of Fortune, unless you already had 7. I get that, but it still seems pretty big. So I had this as a possibility.
It was also an uncommon originally.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, well, shoot me in the foot then, because...
Well, I didn't notice that until just now. So, neat. Clearly they didn't think it was that bad. Which is very strange. What else did somebody have?
I'm thinking Firestorm Phoenix.
Yes.
Because it can't die. It's also the first Phoenix. So for 4 red, it's a 3/2 with flying. But if Firestorm Phoenix would die, return it to its owner's hand instead. And this next part is something they just had to add to make it work properly. Until that player's next turn, that player plays with that card revealed in their hand and can't play it. Originally, the card just said that the player can't summon it again until their next turn. But if it stays hidden in their hand, there's no way for the game to know which card is which. So
Yeah.
they had to add the reveal stuff to make it work.
Yeah, you could just replay it and be like, no, this was the second one. Totally. Shifty eyes. But yeah, I also had the Phoenix on my list. The MTG wiki says Barry was introduced and revised, so that would mean before Legends. Oh,
Cool.
there you go then. Thank you, Pinball Witch. But yeah, the Phoenix is because it can't die, even though it's a 3/2 for 6, which I completely missed. This is neat that it needs a turn to reform. Huh. Yes, chat. Tempest of Freed. We're getting there. It's an anti-card. We're always gonna call them mythic. Jesus. Alright, yes, Tempest of Freed, for God's sake, before chat riots. Look. It's an anti-card.
Words.
Actually, I didn't even read it. I just saw remove it from your deck if before playing if you're not playing for anti, and I was like, oh, that's on the list.
Yeah, so it has a bunch of words. So tap and sack. Target opponent may pay 10 life. If the player doesn't, they reveal a card at random from their hand. Exchange ownership of the revealed card and Tempest of Freed. Put the revealed card into your hand and Tempest of Freed from anywhere into that player's graveyard. The change in ownership is permanent.
Holy crap.
So you play Tempest of Freed, and then you're like, man, this card sucks. I would literally trade it for anything.
I would trade it for a random card in your hand.
Yes. And then you do.
And not only, but then you get to, it puts that card into your hand and puts the Ifrit in their graveyard.
Yeah.
Which means they can't even really, like, use the Ifrit.
Mm-hmm.
What a bizarre thing.
All right then.
Yeah.
Dirk, were there any standouts in
No.
red for
Red just looked terrible.
Dirk's
To
like,
be
no.
honest. Like, I looked through everything and thought, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not mythic. Like, I looked at Storm World, was like, oh, that's not terrible. That's like was it the rack or the...
Yeah, it's like rack plus. Mm-hmm.
But that's not mythic.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely is rare. No. Nothing in red really comes out as mythic. Like I said, if I had to desperately say yes, I would say that this would be the best card of these that I would say would be kind of mythic, would be Falling Star, only because of the ridiculousness of what it is. And it'd be like, oh, he's got an Eldrazi. Click. Go baby, go baby, go. Yes! He didn't die, but he's definitely not going to get untapped.
Let's see, what's the
what?
What are the hate cards? We've got Spinal Villain, who has always been one of my favorite pieces of art ever.
Because of the butt?
Because of the butt? He doesn't have a butt. He's got a tail.
Yeah, it has butt eyes.
Oh my god, he does have butt eyes.
I really didn't think. I assumed you could see it.
I was just the shape of the entire critter. But I've never noticed that the eyes were butts. Great. Now I will never not notice that.
Yep. You're welcome.
Spinal Villain is now a beast, by the way. Originally he was Summon Villain, which is great.
Yes.
But he taps to destroy a target blue creature.
For a while, Spinal Villain was one of my favorite Magic Mad Lib answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And then the anti-white card is the Quorum Trench Gnomes. And you tap to make a plains produce a generic mana instead of...
Colorless.
I guess now it's colorless, isn't it?
Yes.
Come on. Load. There we go. You tap it and target a plains. If target plains is tapped for mana, it produces colorless mana instead of white mana. And this effect lasts indefinitely, it says in reminder text. So you just target a plains and it no longer makes white mana ever. Not even like while you control the Quorum Trench Gnomes. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So that's seriously hateful. Oh, wait. One more mythic. Wall of Opposition. Totally. It's a 0/6 for 5 wall, which means it has defender with colorless fire breathing. Or, I guess now generic fire breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, red has a lot of nonsense. Someone mentioned the Crimson Manticore in chat, and no.
No.
So sure. What about Grin? Like, we just got to say Eureka, right? Like, right off the bat?
I mean, just
Yeah, we do.
Straight up Eureka. I mean, yeah.
Well, what's it do?
Eureka for 2 and 2 green. It is a sorcery. Starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. Repeat this process until no one puts a card onto the battlefield. It's like show and tell on steroids. Which, think about what I just said.
Yeah, show and tell was made to be a less crazy Eureka.
Good
Show
job.
and tell is pretty crazy.
Like, it says
Yeah.
repeat this process until no one puts a card on the battlefield, not until someone doesn't.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth, and if your opponent's like, all right, I'm out, you just keep dropping crap until you're done. Like,
I still got some stuff.
yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Plus, the art is a super happy wizard that summoned a thing that is holding a little sign that says equals MC. There might be a squared on there. Yeah, there is.
I thought I've obviously Eureka. I mean, there's just no way that there's not. I looked at how do you pronounce this? Arborea? Arborea? Because this seems pretty crazy as well. Not in the same magnitude, but I'm
It's a
having
very
trouble-
strange card.
I'm having trouble getting this to load. Okay, here we go. For 2 and 2 green, it's a world enchantment. Creatures can't attack a player unless that player casts a spell or put a non-token permanent onto the battlefield during their last turn. Which means that if you're playing a control deck, you don't play cards during your turn, and you can't get attacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was an uncommon. Explain
Oh,
that.
it was?
Explain
It was.
that.
Mhm.
That doesn't make
because
any
there weren't-
damn sense.
Well, probably because there weren't as many ways for you to actually win with this back then. Would be my guess. Still seems pretty stupid to me, but yeah. Okay, uncommon. I just saw this and I'm like, really? Could you imagine if they printed this effect now? Control decks would just be falling over each other.
Yeah, they wouldn't print this effect now.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Mm.
Especially since there are creatures that exist with flash.
Ugh. Okay, what else we got? Oh yeah.
This isn't my pick, but I would just like to point out that on the original printing of Master of the Hunt, it didn't spend any time explaining what Bands with Other was. The Oracle text has reminder text that is longer than the rules text of every card we have looked at so far.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching, I've highlighted the reminder text. Isn't that insane? That's all reminder text. This, whoop, nope. Hang on. This is the rules text. Dear Lord. Plus, I do like that they're like derpy sheepdogs. I don't think I've ever noticed that in the. Wait, where? They're not wolves? Look at that. Those are sheepdogs. They're chasing Wile E. Coyote. Everything is a lie.
So, what do you think about Willow Satyr being mythic in this set?
I wrote that down with a question mark.
Mm-hmm. So for 2 green, it's 1/1 Satyr. You may choose not to untap Willow Satyr during your untap step. And it has an ability. Tap, gain control of target legendary creature for as long as you control Willow Satyr, and Willow Satyr remains tapped.
So it's a Rabania Soul Singer? Is that? What she did?
Yeah, except it can only grab legendaries.
Right.
Rabinia can grab anyone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in this set, since legends are freaking everywhere, I wrote it down with a question mark, but
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I love the flavor on this. It's like, hi, you're a person of note. Come with me. I'm a satyr. Come here. Oh my God! It's Mr. Tumnus.
Yes, it is. You're right.
He's gonna turn us over to the White Queen. You bastard! I hope you get turned to stone, and then later all is forgiven. Anyway, spoilers.
Spoilers?
Yeah, spoiler. Shut up. Well, so I have to ask, what about? Oh God, it was uncommon. What?
What was uncommon?
Sylvan Library.
Really? Sylvan
Yes.
Library? Was Revelation uncommon as well?
No, Revelation was rare.
So of the two, Revelation was rare, and Sylvan Library was uncommon.
Revolution won't open. There we go. Yeah, it was rare.
Sure.
Revelation is players play with their hands revealed for a single green world enchantment. And Sylvan Library is freaking Sylvan Library.
Mm-hmm. I used to have a copy of Revelation in one of my decks, and then one game back in the dorm, I played it, and because Corey was playing his wizard deck that was heavy with counter spells, the game ground to a halt because no one wanted to be the one who got their stuff countered.
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
I took Revelation out of the deck because I did not want that to happen again.
That was awful. I
should
blame
start
Corey
playing
more than you.
Revelation again. I've always liked Revelation, but
It would not be a mythic card.
Yeah.
I think Concordant Crossroads would be mythic before Revelation would be.
I had Concordant Crossroad on my list for a minute, and then whoops, and then took it off. What does Concordant Crossroads do, Mike?
So for 1 green, it's a world enchantment that says all creatures have haste.
Yeah, it's kind of insane, especially for a green mana.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can drop this on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you can like play Llanowar Elves and then tap it.
Yeah.
So you go from 1 mana on turn 1 to 3 mana on turn 2 without... I guess that would be the same as if you played the elves on turn 1, but this time they couldn't kill it.
Yeah. It even has something that looks suspiciously like a bird of paradise flying around.
Yeah, do you see that? Yeah.
I wonder what you might want to give Hayes.
Right? I also had... Oh, Willow Satyr. Never mind. Oh, what about Rebirth?
It's another anti-card, so sure.
Oh, right. That's why I wrote it down without a question mark. Remove Rebirth from your deck before Plague if you're not Plague for ante. For 3 and 3 green, each player may ante the top card of their library. If a player does, that player's life total becomes 20. And I love the original wording. Each player may choose to be healed to 20 life. Any player choosing to be healed antes an additional card from the top of his or her library. But yeah, green has a lot of, again, nonsense and weirdness. Like Elven Riders. Why? What? Like that was an actual rare. Every other printing was an uncommon. What was that? Gaspy threw some bits and said something. But we didn't say anything. 500 bits. Whoa, thank you. Jam. And like killer bees are rare. What?
The bees.
Not the bees.
Killer bees is no joke.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, kind of is, because, you know, they're holding a shield. But
Oh, yeah.
it's like a sophisticated joke.
It is a joke in the sense that one of the Foglios did the art. So, yes.
It's kind of a joke. Living Plane is also another one that I looked at real hard.
I looked at it and I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I did as well. But for 2 green, it's another world enchantment that says all lands are 1/1 creatures that are still lands.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. Everything is so weird. Okay, what are the hate cards? We've got
I only saw Typhoon. If there's an anti-black one, then it might be an uncommon.
Yeah, Typhoon for 2 and a green. It does 1 damage to each opponent for each island he or she controls. That's sort of not bad. You know, considering what some of the other hate cards have been.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get into the golden meat of this set.
do we want to mention the artifacts first, or?
I mean, then I'd have to scroll to the second page, so no.
All right then.
So, Derp Attack Go asks, what about Wood Elemental for being mythic? No. Unless they made it mythic so they had to print less. But, no. So personally, I'm all for Gusta Dirk being mythic, just because of the name.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the art, but the card itself is not.
The art is a strong argument for Mythic.
Yeah, the art is pretty sick. He's a mythic dude, even if his card isn't. Oh my god, he costs 6! What?
But he stops Island Walk.
He stops Island Walk.
which is
Stop
like the
it.
only land walkability that shows up with any frequency. So
But
What do
he's
you mean
got
he
blue.
costs 6?
Yeah, but he's got blue in his costs. So
yeah, so now your opponents can't attack you with their island walk stuff.
I guess if he wasn't blue, it wouldn't matter, would it? That's a good
No,
point.
yeah.
Yes, it's a mono black creature that turns off.
Turns off island walk. Yeah, okay, I understand. Shut up.
Now I can run my watery graves for bling purposes. Anyway, we've hammered Chewie home enough, I think.
All right. So what do we have in gold?
What about Rasputin?
Yeah, maybe.
Because he uses
dream.
what kind of counters?
Dream counter.
Dream counters. The original thing just said counters. Put counters on it. Okay. So for 4 and a blue and a white, he is a 4/1 human wizard. He was a legend, and all the legends originally were just creature type legends, summon legend. But now they've got, they're humans and other things. Enters the battlefield with 7 dream counters on it. You can remove a dream counter from him to add a colorless mana, an actual colorless mana. You can remove a dream counter from him to prevent the next 1 damage to be dealt to him this turn, so to keep him alive. At the beginning of your upkeep, if he started the turn untapped, put a dream counter on him. And he can't have more than 7 dream counters on him. That's just weird.
Okay, so 7 dream counters. Dream counters come off for mana or to prevent 1
damage to him. Yeah.
And he's a 4/1.
He's a 4/1.
But
so it's
at the
kind
beginning
of
of your upkeep, if you didn't do anything with him, then he
if
gets
he's
1 counter.
untapped. Yeah.
He grows 1 back.
But you can't have more than 7.
What in the actual hell?
But it's weird. So
that it is. You are correct, sir.
It's kind of like the mana shield ability that you'll see wizards get in some video games. Except it gets replenished very, very slowly.
Oh, did Ghost of Dark cost 7 mana? I'm stupid.
Wasn't Rasputin an actual historical figure?
Yeah, I'm
Russia?
sure that other people.
Yeah, he was.
Other people were also named Rasputin. But yeah.
He was Russia's greatest love machine.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a song. He was also the villain in the first Hellboy movie.
Well, I remember that. Oh, that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was supposedly the historical Rasputin.
Heard they're making a new Hellboy movie.
Yeah,
Ron
with
Perlman.
the guy from Stranger Things as Hellboy.
Guy.
Oh, cool.
There's
Right?
a lot
Wasn't
of
it
people.
wasn't that the sheriff? Yeah.
Oh.
I can't think of his freaking name.
I can't remember it either right now.
He's the sheriff from Stranger Things, and that is always how he'll be named from now until he dies.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Anyway. David something. Yes, Piccolo, David something.
Yes.
Ochoa.
Right.
No, wait.
Let's just say David Tennant and not accept any corrections.
Okay, so back to the
canon
gold cards.
There's this cycle of dragons.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I would have. That's what my list would have been, is the Cycle of Dragons.
Yeah, I just wrote Elder Dragons, like, just to cover them all, because we just got new versions of them in oh crap, Dominaria.
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
no, that wasn't right.
M19.
M19, thank you. Yeah, there we go. I was like, no, they brought core sets back. Remember? So yeah, we've got Chromium. We've got Nicol Bolas. We've got. Oh, I have to go to the second page anyway. Damn it. We've got Vivictus Asmati. We've got Palladium Ores, and we've got Arcades Sabath.
Yep.
But we've talked about them recently enough to where there's really no reason to redo them. I don't even know if they would be mythic, honestly. But,
I think so. Back in the day, yeah.
But we're just going to call
probably.
it that.
Yeah.
The Elder Dragon Legends.
That is true. And they all had these insane mana costs.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think they would have been mythic.
Yeah. So, I'm not just doing this to make Mike giggle,
But
but what about Stang? Just because of the fact that you make a Stang twin, and if anything happens to one, it happens to both. As far as, dying.
I like the idea.
Like the fact that the token and Stang were linked in that way is really the only reason that I thought this could possibly maybe be mythic. It's probably not, but at the time that was a strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm trying to get brownie points with Mike. Wow.
So,
And there's a ruling from 2018 that says if Stang leaves the battlefield before the ability's resolved, then the Stang twin will actually stay on the battlefield. Whoa.
cool.
so question, because
Wait, what were we about to say, Dirk?
So did a bunch of these rare creatures, did they just run out of inspiration, or like Rasputin, Nebuchadnezzar, who else? Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel Angel Fire has his on Tamar. Yeah, stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
Even-
like actual people.
Even like Palladium Ors and Arcades Sabaoth, yeah. Or actual people, or literary references, or place names, or all kinds of things.
Yeah.
so in doing research for this episode, I don't know that I'd ever seen every legendary creature in Legends. I gotta ask.
And this isn't all of them.
No, this isn't all of them. This is a lot of them. I saw one that I don't think I'd ever seen before. Is what's happening on Gwendolyn de Cord what I think is happening on Gwendolyn de Courcy?
Uh,
That she is sexually luring someone to their doom. Yes.
yeah, she's from GoldenEye. What is hang on.
Xenia Onatopp?
Xenia Onatopp, yeah.
Gee, you'd never think I'd saw that movie once or twice, or
Or
But
ever
yeah.
played the video game for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Oh yeah, many, many, many times. But yeah, her effect is making a player discard a card from their hand at random, so it's kind of confusing them. The art is highly suggestive, and then the flavor text is: Urborg became the final resting place of many swordsmen of renown. Their steel outmatched by the wiles of Gwendolyn. I'm like, yes. I understand what is happening.
They're
here.
her feminine wiles. Got
Yeah.
it. Huh.
Right. Anyway, not trying to be immature about it.
And
just...
she's Grixis colored, and she makes players discard a card at random, which fits.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many
And
of
she's a-
these don't fit.
And she's a wait a minute, she's a 3/5 for 4 mana? She's a 3/5 for 4 mana in Legends.
Yeah,
What
she's a legitimately good card. I know.
Holy crap, dude.
It's hard to believe.
Granted, those 4 mana are blue, black, black, red, but still.
But still, dude, that's like legit borderline playable now, which
Well.
makes her closer. Hey man, a 3/5 for 4 mana with a decent ability.
Yeah. But the fact that her ability actually goes in her colors these days, like Dakin Blackblade has power and toughness equal to the lands you control in Esper. Like, what?
Yeah, like they went out of their way to pick all the colors that don't make sense under modern design
Yeah.
sensibilities.
So, another one that actually chat brought up that I wrote down with a question mark is Rogov Karakeep. Because and here's why. Okay, so Roga of Karakeep costs 2 black, red, red. Okay.
Okay.
And he's a 5/5. So 5/5 for 6. Not too bad. Creatures you control named Kobolds of Karakeep get +2/+2. Kobolds of Karakeep are what, 0/1s for 0?
Yes.
Yeah. So it turns them into 2/3s, which is nuts because they cost 0. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay red, red, red. If you don't, tap Roga of Karakeep and all creatures named Kobolds of Karakeep. Then an opponent gains control of them. And that's the part that made me go, wait, what? Because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this that not only gives itself to your opponent, but all of these other things.
Yeah. That's it. We're leaving.
But we'll be back in a minute because chances are your opponent's not playing red. But just because of the sheer weirdness of this card, I put it on the list with a question mark.
Mm.
Anybody?
What?
Anybody got anything to say to that?
Seems reasonable. We've got a question in chat. Wait, if someone else has Kobolds of Karakeep and you don't pay, can you give them to a third opponent in multiplayer? Yeah.
Tap Roga and all creatures name Kobolds of Karakeep, then an opponent gains control of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Neat.
Yeah, there was an odd little sub theme in Legends in Red with Kobolds, and they were very, very cheap red creatures. There were 3 different ones that were 0/1s for 0: Crimson Kobolds, Crookshank Kobolds, and Kobolds of Karakeep. Then there was Roga, who gave a special bonus to the Kobolds of Karakeep. But then there was also Kobold Lieutenant, Kobold Taskmaster, and Kobold something else, who would Kobold Drill Sergeant, not Lieutenant. Anyway, who would pump up the Kobolds or otherwise give them abilities, and those guys only cost like 2 mana.
Huh.
So it was a neat, quirky little sub theme.
Had they invented draft yet when Legends came out?
I don't think so. Legends would be pretty much impossible to play sealed because it doesn't have any of the pieces that you need to make a normal Magic set work properly. Like I don't think there's any enchantment removal until you get to rare or something stupid like that. It's got too much weird stuff going on. It's not designed for sealed, and early Magic sets weren't designed for sealed. Mirage, I think, was the first one where they actually paid attention to that and were really thinking about how this would play in sealed or draft.
Okay. So I think what Chewy's getting at is like drafting around kobolds.
That you could do.
Yeah, like it sounds like
they would show up with enough frequency, but the rest of the set would be boned.
It'd be terrible if you didn't actually draw your regular. If all you had was just a bunch of the 0/1s.
just 0/1s. Like, hi.
These are gonna be great in a minute. If I ever draw this guy,
So back to the other cards. Solkanar the Swamp King is amazing.
Yes.
Actually, wow. Looking at all the other cards in the set, he costs 6 for a 5. Okay, wait.
No, he costs 5.
Sorry, he cost. Why can't I do this today? He costs 5, 2, and a blue, a black, and a red for a 5/5, which is brilliant for this set.
yeah.
He's got Swamp Walk, and whenever a player casts a black spell, you gain 1 life. Now, he's one of my favorite old cards.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking right up there with with Nether Shadow favorite. Like, I loved me some Solkanar the Swamp King back in the day. But looking at it with these fresh eyes, it amazes me that he was good back then.
Yeah, I would love playing Solkanar today. Solkanar's good now.
Yeah. But
He's a really cool character with cool Richard Kane Ferguson art.
and a really badass beat stick in his
Yeah.
hand.
Where's that legendary equipment?
Right? Oh, that would be the stick of Solkanar.
Yeah, the Swamp King's beat stick.
But, like, how did this get printed back then? Look at how good this is. With 2 upsides. What?
I guess because it was 3 colors. I mean, even though dual lands existed, the actual like fixing process to get them onto the battlefield was difficult.
Yeah, it was called Draw Them.
Yes, you're right.
Huh. You know what? I'm going to make a motion that Solkanar would have been mythic back then.
I agree with you.
I think that's a very good chance of that. So yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
I
it's
scrolled
unanimous.
right past him when I was going through this earlier because I thought it was just nostalgia, you know, and love for the card. So I just didn't even look at him. But looking at him, no, he's really good. Huh. All right. So what else we got? Anything? Is there anything?
I thought about Hazazon Tamar because he can make a great big pile of tokens.
That is true.
I think I'm good with what we talked about.
He's also got sweet Richard Kane Ferguson art. Huh.
Dakon Blackblade also has sweet Richard Kane Ferguson art.
Yeah, he
There's a
does.
theme here.
Wow, there is. Damn, that's eerie.
I also thought
Also,
about Gabriel Angelfire as like a proto-achroma, even though it only has one at a time.
I thought of him. He must be on the first page. I thought of him too, but again, I thought it was just because I really liked the card when I was a kid. So, So for 3 white, green, he's a 4/4. Is he an angel? Of course he is. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you choose Flying, First Strike, Trample, or Rampage 3, and Gabriel Angelfire he gets that ability until your next upkeep, which is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe?
Yeah.
Does not have sweet Richard Kane Ferguson art, so never mind.
No.
All right. So back to page 2. Ahem. So back to page... Oh my god. Why is Gatherer so bad? Why aren't we using Scryfall? Here we go.
I don't know.
Jacques Levert? Is that a real person?
I don't know. I mean,
Also, Ragnar has epic art.
yes.
Mythic art, but not... No. Okay, so artifacts then.
So artifacts.
Artifacts and lands. Ugh.
What about Gauntlets of Chaos?
Maybe.
So Gauntlets of Chaos for 5 mana. It's an artifact. You then pay 5 mana and sacrifice the Gauntlets of Chaos to exchange control of target artifact, creature, or land you control, and target permanent an opponent controls that shares one of those types with it. If those permanents are exchanged this way, destroy all auras attached to them. Seems like an odd thing to throw on there at the end, but sure.
I think that was there to avoid questions about, wait, who controls the auras?
Now, I don't know if this would be mythic nowadays because we have things like Switcheroo. But I think the ability to just say, hey, I've got this kobold and I'm going to take your Sarah Angel seems pretty good. But is it mythic? I'm not sure. I'm legitimately asking the question.
I don't know. Like, I didn't... and you didn't either, mention juxtapose when we were in blue.
Mm-hmm. Does that just do creatures, or can it also do artifacts? I don't remember.
I don't either. Let's go look. Juxtapose says target player and caster each choose one of the creatures they control, with the highest casting cost. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Then do the same for artifacts.
Oh, so it does both.
The
Okay.
control. Okay, wait. Let me read the freaking Oracle text. If I can get Gather to open. Okay, here. You and target player exchange control of the creature you each control with the highest converted mana cost. Then exchange control of artifacts the same way. If 2 or more permanents a player controls are tied for highest cost, their controller chooses one of them. Oh. Okay, so juxtapose is swap your most expensive creature and your most expensive artifact. And Gauntlets of Chaos is swap 2 of whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you have full control over it.
Yeah.
So like Brian said, I'll trade you my Kobold for your Sarah Angel.
Yeah. That sounds fair, right?
Sounds fair to me.
Wait till I draw my Roya. Huh, okay. Nice. I like it.
Speaking of exchanging stuff, Mirror Universe.
Yup. That's on my list.
Yeah, so for 6 mana, it's an artifact. Tap and sacrifice Mirror Universe. Exchange life totals with target opponent. Activate this ability only during your upkeep.
This is where we get the Magus the Mirror from, right?
Yep.
Playing on
Yes.
Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
a mythic.
And this card, at least the way the rules worked back then, you could actually knock yourself down to below 0.
Mm-hmm.
And because life totals weren't checked until certain points, you could activate Mirror Universe, swap your life totals, and then win on the spot.
Yes.
Luckily, they fixed it. So you can't drop below 0 for a second anymore. But wait, one of the folios did the art. Does that mean we have to discount it? Huh. I wrote down Knowledge Vault. What is Knowledge Vault?
Maybe.
Not that it's going to open. There we go. Okay, for 4 mana, it's an artifact. 2 and tap, exile the top card of your library face down. Okay. Pay 0, sacrifice Knowledge Vault. If you do, discard your hand, then put all cards exiled with Knowledge Vault into their owner's hand. Oh, that's not mythic. I wonder why I wrote that down. I mean, it's making a second hand that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and when it leaves the battlefield, all the cards exiled with it go to their owner's graveyard. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's a lot better than being gone forever.
Yeah. I must have misread this or something, because that doesn't jump out as mythic to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, never mind. What else we got?
At this one, I think I'm kind of tapped out. So
What about Arena of the Ancients in this set?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Arena of the Ancients is the ultimate Legends hate. Oh, for God's sake, Gatherer.
well, is
Except,
it a bigger? What about Caracas?
well, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
So for 3 mana, it's an artifact. Legendary creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. And when it enters the battlefield, tap all legendary creatures.
I mean, that seems awfully powerful in this set.
Yeah.
But is it mythic? I mean, you can do hosers without. I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like this might be the the Golgothian Silex of this set.
Yeah.
It basically is.
Yeah, but then, and it only costs 3. Ooh, I don't know. Like this in, for instance, this would not be a card that they put in Kamigawa block,
No.
but they could put this in, some other like Urza block, and it wouldn't be the worst thing, you know? So I don't know. That's just an interesting question. But like the mana batteries are fine. The various, it's all a bunch of nonsense.
The mana batteries were uncommon anyway.
Really? Why are they?
Because they were rare in 4th.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And the reason that Caracas and Pendelhaven show up here was because they were reprinted at rare later. The cycle of legendary lands. The cycle of
What?
legendary lands with a color were uncommon.
Holy crap.
Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale was rare. But Caracas, Talaria, Urborg, what's the red one? Hammerheim,
Hammerheim.
and Pendelhaven were uncommon.
Well, that knocks 2 off of my list. Well, okay, Pendelhaven probably not, but Caracas maybe? But it was uncommon? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay, well, what about the Tabernacle then? Like Tabernacle, it might just feel mythic because of its, modern day power level.
Mm-hmm.
But
I am wondering whether they had an awareness at the time of how powerful it actually was. I think maybe they did. Maybe they would have. Because it's a land that doesn't make mana. And it's legendary and they put it at rare.
makes perfect sense, right?
So they know the effect is powerful.
Okay, wouldn't that be nuts if it also tapped for mana? Oh my god.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that would be stupid. It basically just functions like an artifact the way it is now. A free artifact.
Yeah. All right then. So are we done with Legends, you think?
I think so.
Legends is such a weird set. Like all old sets are. But I think the sheer depth of these rare gold cards that are all legendary creatures, that are all bizarre, even by today's standards. Shout out to my boy Johan. What? Still have the Johan deck? Oh yeah. And we made, a long time ago, I think we did an Angus McKenzie story circle.
Yeah, that sounds about
Yes.
right.
Pretty sure we did. He's a funny fellow. I can't find him. Where is he? He is multicolored, right?
Yeah, he's on the he's right above Arcady Sabath and Ragnar.
Oh, he was on the second page. I just missed him.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. Yeah, look at him. Hey, what was that? That sounded like bits. Pinball Witch, through 4 doors, I asked a question in the magic section of the Discord I'd love your thoughts on. Now is not the time for that. Okay, what?
We are kind of in the middle of something.
Yeah, that's an episode. So,
Right.
dorks.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How about some final thoughts then?
Dirk, do you want to do your final thought?
Sure, because I'm need to head to bed. The hurricane has sort of thrown me off a little bit. granted, the hurricane was what, a week ago
Hmm.
today.
Yes.
So yeah, we actually lost power for a little over 24 hours.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, it was enough that I had to uh, run stuff over to my parents because it was like we had frozen shrimp and stuff of that sort. I was like, well, we got like some of the stuff in the freezer. If it thawed, it's like broccoli. Okay, you just heat that up. That's all fine. But meat, on the other hand, that really cannot be allowed to thaw, especially when you have no way of cooking it. So I had to run some stuff over to my parents. But yeah, that's the most significant we've had with regards to the storms. The two hurricanes that have rolled through was we lost power for a little over 24 hours. But it was nice because with all the power out, High Point for the most part had all their power out, so you could see stars in the neighborhood, which really,
Wow.
yeah, that was actually kind of nice. It was like being back out at the farm and going out at night when it was clear and just being like, wow, I can actually see a lot of stars. And even Chelsea, when we were out, because the kids had gone to bed because there's no power, there's nothing they can do. So they all went to bed pretty early. But we were outside because, nothing better to do than to go outside on a clear night after hurricanes roll through and look up at the sky and be like, hey, that's Cassiopeia. That's this one. Seeing lots of stars, which was actually kind of nice.
The calm after the storm.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the freezer stuff, I actually was having fun because it gave me a chance to read books. It's like
Wow.
the kids played in their rooms and everything, or I sent them outside and was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go grab a book and I'm gonna get a chance to read because we didn't have school because half the schools didn't have power, or you couldn't. The roads weren't clear enough for kids to get to school. So that was with regards to the hurricane, everything. And it's funny that it was the hurricane that no one really planned for. It did all the damage. And the one that we had like a 2-week notice of, this thing's coming. This thing's coming. You better prepare. This thing's coming. And it didn't do anything to us. But then the hurricane that just sort of said, oot, oot, on a train ride through the south was the one that did some damage to us.
Yeah, I was up north during the build up for it, so I found out about Michael about to hit the day before I was coming home. And I was like, "Oh man, that's messed up." And I didn't realize how fast it was moving.
Yeah, that was moving like a freight train.
Because they were like, "Okay, it's gonna hit Florida then," and then I hit rain, or rain hit here, and I'm like, "Oh, it's raining," and I'm like, "Wow, it's raining hard." And I looked, and that looks suspiciously like the tail of a hurricane already. What?
Yeah. Because it came in, it was hitting us pretty good in the morning. And then, like it was getting rain, and then all of a sudden, right around 3 o'clock for me, I looked out the window and was like, okay, the trees look like they're trying to do like push-ups or something. And so I told the kids, like, you guys have to be downstairs. And not too long after, that's when we lost power. So I was like, well, I just didn't want something, heaven forbid, something had happened and like knocked out the windows upstairs or taken the top of the house off. It's like I wanted my kids to be downstairs in case something happened, because they had called off school that day, the Thursday, because they were there was concerns that it wasn't gonna be bad in the morning, but by the time the kids were getting out of school, that's when things were gonna get worse. And so they were like, yeah, just don't worry about going to school today. Because even if we release you guys early, it's still going to be bad. So I was thankful. But that's my final thought for the evening, is that the storm was quite interesting. My family and everything got through it pretty well, and with minimal loss of food in the freezer. No damage to the house or anything of that.
Nice.
And with that, I bid you all fond good night.
Night, Zerk. Man, my power didn't even blink. Like, the lights sort of flickered a couple times, and I was like, I think I was streaming that night, and I was like, well, if I suddenly am not on anymore, it's because the power went out. No, wait, no, that was a couple days later. Yeah, because on Thursday I didn't do anything, especially not record a show.
We lost power for almost 4 hours, which is a lot less time than some people lost it. Bob lost his power for almost, I think, 48 hours. So,
Good Lord.
I think Greensboro was a lot worse affected than some of the other spots around. So, for my final thought, these two know that I went and did a draft. I've been wanting to draft Guilds of Ravnica for a little while, and I haven't really had a good opportunity. And then I had a chance to go last Friday at Lucky's, and it was interesting. I was sitting at the end of the row, and Lucky was over watching us, and he made some remark as we opened our first pack that and people were showing him stuff that made it sound like a lot of people opened shocks. So I was like, Shockland. So I was like, okay. Before I even got into the back of my pack, I just flipped to the back, and I'm like, oh, there's a Temple Garden here. That's cool. But, you know, it's just a land. It's a good land, but it's just a land. I looked in the rest of the pack, and I didn't see really anything worth taking. No removal, especially. So I took the Temple Garden. Sure, why not?
Hell yeah. No shame in rare drafting?
No. At one point, somebody was like, how many rares do you have? And I'm like, when in doubt, rare draft. And they laughed, and I'm like, yeah, but no, really. Like, don't do it to the exclusion of everything else. But anyway, so then my next pack that I just got passed, the rare was gone, but I saw Conclave Cavalier, and I'm like, I felt weird about taking it because I just taken the Temple Garden. I didn't want to be like, okay, just because I took the green-white land does not mean I have to go into green-white. But Conclave Cavalier is a really good card. So I took it. Things started to dry up just a little bit. I was getting a little more green than white. Looking through some of these other picks, things were okay. I got like a Healer's Hawk, and I ended up with 2 Rosemane Centaurs overall. Otherwise, you know, things are going okay. And then we get into the second pack, and I managed to pick up a Hatchery Spider, our preview card.
Yay.
As well as a Find and Finality, which is the Golgari split card, rare split card. I'm like, okay, you know, not too bad. And I think the second pack was also where I picked up a Guild Mage's Forum, which is that land you can tap for either a colorless or pay 1 and tap to get a mana of any color, which isn't great, but it's fixing. And then if you spend on a multicolored creature spell, it comes in with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So I'm like, okay, so far, so good. It's starting to look a little better. At one point during the second pack, Lucky comes over. He's like, how's your deck looking? I'm like, because I'm just not sure. I'm just kind of filling it out. I'm not feeling like anything's too spectacular, but it's coming along all right. Open up the third pack. I don't remember what the rare was. It wasn't anything that was really of my color. So I pass it. Meanwhile, Lucky's looking over the shoulder of the guy that's getting ready to pass to me, and he's like, you're not taking it? And he said, I'm drafting to win. So he passes me the pack, and I go to the back, and it's a Vraska.
Who?
And I'm like, you didn't take it? He's like, I'm drafting to win. I'm like, that's good.
What a coincidence. So am I.
Yoink.
I'll just take that now. And you know what the next thing he passes me? Is an Amara.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then finally in 1 or 2 more picks, I get a Knight of Autumn. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
yeah. So yeah, in my deck, you know, the Temple Garden, the Guild Mage's Forum, Hatchery Spider, Amara, Knight of Autumn, Find Finality, Vraska, a Conclave Cavalier, 2 Rosemane Centaurs, which were actually really good a lot of the time. some early stuff, 2 Devkaran Dissidents, which are decent for like just mana sinks, and a Pitiless Gorgon, and then some other random creatures, and then in the non-creature stuff, a Luminous Bonds for removal, which was pretty important. There's one time where I was literally like Luminous Bonds and swing out, so that's pretty good. And then probably one of my most favorite removal pieces in the set now, after playing with it for a little while, is Righteous Blow. For a single white, it's an instant. It deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Which sounds so innocuous, but the stuff it lets you do, you pair it with big creatures to get rid of their bigger creature, or you kill their small guy when they block, so you get to keep yours, or you trample over more, or even if you don't have anything to block, it's just an attacking or blocking creature. So, yeah, it's good like all the time, and stuff in this set, for the most part, isn't that big. So yeah, so I won the first match. Let's just say kind of quickly. Then I started to play against someone else. We thought we had to be paired up against each other, and then somebody else was like, "Hey, I think I'm supposed to play you." And of course, because it's just being run through the store, and it's just as you finish up your match, you're supposed to find who you're supposed to play next. So we had a misunderstanding. That the guy I was playing against, he had a who's the big Selesnya guild person? Is it Tristani?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he played it, and I was holding in my hand the Vraska, and then that's when the other guy came over, and talking to him, he really thought he had it, and I was like, maybe we will. It would have been interesting because I was going to play Vraska and go from there. But anyway, get paired against my real opponent. Lost the first game because I mulled down to 5, and I kept a 2-land hand with a 1-drop, the Vine Portcullis, Portcullis Vine, sorry, and could not draw anything relevant for 6 or 7 turns. So I dropped that one, and I just crushed him in the second game. In the third game, we literally both got down to 1 life, and he couldn't stop me. So because I stabilized, and
Nice.
he was literally tapping down a guy every turn. There's a red-blue spell with Jumpstart. Tap a creature, it deals 2 damage to its controller. And he was using that to basically keep me from murdering him. But in the end, he didn't have what he needed. So, and I with this deck, I was all set. I usually just split with whoever finals so that everybody can move on a little faster. And I was seriously considering playing out with this deck, but at this point it was almost 10 o'clock. I'm an old man, and they the other 2 were still playing to determine who would be the other finalist, and they both wanted to split, so I was okay with it. So yeah, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Rares that just I ended up with. I picked up a Gruesome Menagerie, which I thought I might play, but the black was too much of a splash. Kind of the same way in the first pack, I got past a Deafening Clarion, which I didn't go into red for. And then somehow I ended up with a Narcomoeba because it was just making its way around the table, and it was either that or a blue card that I didn't need. So sure, why not?
No shame in rare drafting.
Nah, man. Somebody was like, "Is that 5 rares?" And I'm like, 5 uncolored rares that you guys gave me. Thanks.
Suckers.
I really wanted to draft again, and they were gonna go ahead again, and I seriously thought about it, but I was like, I'm too old. This was the day before Sam's birthday weekend. Stuff started to get kicked off, and the little part of me looked at my deck and said, this is probably the best draft deck you'll ever make. The next one is not going to be. The next one's going to be a disappointment. Let that be another day. So, but anyway, I had a lot of fun, and played really well and drafted pretty well, and yeah, I definitely want to do it again too.
Nice.
and I am gonna pull a dark and go away because it's after 10. I'm an old man, and I would love to see you guys again real soon. But I'm gonna head out.
All right, night B.
All right. Good night.
How about you, Mike?
I have a feeling there was something I had in mind to mention during final thoughts, but I don't know. I really don't have it anymore. Oh well.
I'm sure it was lovely.
I think it was going to be short, so pretend I spent this time telling you all about it.
Well, all right then.
Yeah.
Guess I'll do my thing then. So hey, over on youtube.com/themanapool, at the moment I've got videos of The Messenger going up, an excellent retro style 2D platformer that's all ninja-y. And it's super sweet. And coming very soon, I'll have the TMP nerf report for the Hearthstone nerfs that are live already, because apparently I forgot how they dropped the information on us on Monday, and they went public today, which is Thursday, instead of usually they give us like a week and change or something. So, I haven't gotten the video up yet. My bad. But is that all? What else? What else is going up on YouTube? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I did open 46 packs of Eternal for a YouTube video back before I had any idea about anything about Eternal. I played through the tutorial and the free campaign thing that was like one boss that was like a puzzle, and then I opened my Twitch Prime packs. So if you want to see a complete Eternal noob opening 46 packs with Twitch chat explaining to him why he's dumb, then go check that out. That's on the YouTube channel. And then right here on twitch.tv/themanapool, I have streamed lately. I streamed getting a Golden Warlock, because I finally have a Golden Warlock. The video for that will be going up at some point on the YouTube channel. I have streamed more Eternal. Did my very first sealed league in Eternal ever. Opened my packs, built a deck, played my first 10 games. I've played more games since then and gotten 2 more packs since then. But I'll be streaming that again sometime soon. Yeah. I need to figure out... Oh, and I need to stream more of The Messenger. Also, before I run out of YouTube videos. I think I had 9 videos worth from the first stream. And number 4 went public today. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get on that. Dude, the bosses in The Messenger are so sick.
Yeah, I watched the first couple videos. They're pretty good.
Yeah, wait till you get to the one that went up today, entitled DJ Rockman and the Grotto Golem. I didn't realize that there was an actual person named DJ Rockman. He is not in this video. This is the man made of rock who looks like he's DJing, and then he throws a giant boulder at you. Hey, that's a normal enemy. That's not a boss. He's just periodically there, just DJs scattered throughout the level. But his animation, it looks like he's got one hand on his ear and he's like jamming. And then he just, whoop, throw a rock. Oh, thanks, buddy. DJ Rockman. Anyway. So that's what's going on YouTube and here on Twitch. Also, I guess that's it really for those. I don't know why I said also. That's the wrong word. It's because it's after 10. I'm an old man. Mike, are you an old man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, Dirk said it, and then Brian said it several times. So, just making sure that we're all old men here. But yeah, I got back from vacation. I've been taking it easy on the content creation to try to get other things in order, try to get the rest of life in order. But that you guys shouldn't notice a difference. I'm still gonna stream and have YouTube videos going up, so you guys won't notice. So it'll be fine. But if you would like to become a Manapool lifeguard, you can do that at patreon.com/themanapool, where the different flavors of lifeguards, the different rarities of lifeguards, if you will, get different perks. The uncommon lifeguards get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early, plus they get the silver name in the Discord server. The rare lifeguards get the early stuff, a golden name, because rare, in the Discord server, and access to the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool that is uncensored and unfiltered. And the Mythic lifeguards get all of that stuff, a Mythic Orange name in the Discord server, and the shout out on both podcasts and their name on the end screen for all the YouTube videos. So it's a pretty good deal. So, to that end, I would like to thank our Mythic lifeguards, Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Timu Helazharyu. Can I call you Banzai Tree? Or should I keep butchering your real name? Let me know. Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Brattain, Casey, Fayen Says, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, Keith Moody, John Parker, Violet Moon, Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerburn, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Thank you all so very much for your generosity. And also thanks to all of the other patrons of all rarities. So, with that, I guess we should wrap this episode up. So, this has been the Manapool number 529. Wow. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some Magic.